What's up, guys? It's your boy Ace, and today we're going to be talking about the October title update, and this is a really big one. In fact, this is one of the most game-changing patches in Madden history because of what they've done with that chem that basically gives you free range, what to do with your wide receivers. You are expanding your route tree to routes that are very coveted: deep crossers, posts, skinny post, corners, trails, wheels. All of these can now be hot routed to if you have the right card, the right thresholds, and I'll go into that more once we get down there. But if you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm not going to talk about everything in this patch. If you want to read the full thing, that link is going to be in the description, and I will link you to the full patch notes. I'm only going to talk about gameplay because that's what my channel is about. I do not talk about franchise updates. So to me, I don't know why this is the top highlight here. Added new celebrations for both player signatures and team celebrations. Who cares? The next one is actually a good one, tuned to address a field goal block exploit. And this is one that was driving me crazy. I have had so many kicks blocked in the past 2 or 3 weeks. Apparently everybody knows how to do it. And I've even had perfect kicks blocked from that exploit. That tells you how good it is. And I talked to an EA dev about it, and he said, yeah, that's actually possible. So thank God they fixed that. Now, I will say I have not played the game post-patch yet. This is just me reading the patch notes. So I don't know if it's actually fixed yet. That's something that I'm just going to have to see once I actually have the chance to get on. So the next one, added new ability called Route Specialist that gives receivers unique hot routes based on their positions and ratings. So the way they have it is they've broken it down into multiple categories. They have short, I think they have medium, they definitely have deep, and then they have elite. So if you have, for example, a receiver with 90 plus short route running, you can power up that card and add that route specialist chemistry onto him, and that's going to expand your route tree to the point where you can put certain routes on him, like a wheel route. A wheel route out of a slot is actually a very useful route. It's just going to expand things for you. I know that sounds nice, but I'm going to offer my opinion here. I personally think this is a horrible idea because, for one, it's pay to play, and I can't stand pay to play. You have to spend, I think, 1,000 training plus have a really good card. 1,000 training just to get the chemistry onto the card. So there's going to be tons of kids with money who are going to be putting these chemistries on their cards. It's going to be a massive headache on defense to defend these things when we don't have proper zone logic. So for instance, the deep route running, you have to have 90 and above, and you can add routes such as a dig route, a smart routed out route. You know, obviously you can do that yourself, but you can automatically go 10 yards instead of wherever the first down marker is. It just automatically does it for you. You can do a post route, a skinny post route, a deep crosser. Those routes are all coveted routes that people usually build schemes around. So people are basically saying, Ace, this is a good thing because now we're not going to get the same things. We're not going to play the same things on offense. And yes, I get what you're saying. It sounds nice from a certain point of view, but the fact is we don't have proper zones. When we don't have proper zones, it's going to be a massive headache to defend gun bunch now. Gun bunch is already a headache, but when people can add deep crossers, wheel routes, trail routes, add all these things to it, plus the really good pass protection that gun bunch offers, you guys are not going to be praising this patch very soon once you see that. To me, they went about it the wrong way. I think if you're going to implement this, you have to do it universally. You have to let everybody have the ability to do it. Every player has to have the ability to do it, but of course they won't because it's a cash grab. I mean, they even upped the salary cap to 850 instead of 800, and they specifically did that to acclimate to this new chemistry. So that really tells you where EA's head is at, but I just don't approve. I personally wouldn't add it to the game at all, even though I still feel like the game is relatively stale. playing against, specific offensive formations, I would rather have the ability to play defense. Now playing defense is going to be really difficult. It really is, unless you're using some kind of glitchy blitz where you're like rushing up the A gap, which you can still do, by the way. It's just, to me, not a good situation. So that is the route specialist. I will provide more details about that in the comment section because there was a tweet I wanted to refer to, but I can't find it right now. But once I find it, I'll show you all the thresholds and the routes that you can unlock, depending on if it's the short route running or the medium route running and stuff. So I'll post that in the comment section. So that's it for that. Let's talk about the gameplay updates. And first, we're going to talk about this one. This is a really big one. Tuned to allow quarterbacks a chance to fumble when tackled with a hit stick, even when holding down the cover ball mechanic. This applies to competitive and simulation game styles. So what they're saying here is don't be a dummy anymore and try to scramble with your quarterback and just hold RB instead of sliding. You better slide from now on, because if they get a hit stick animation on you while you're covering up, you still have a chance to fumble. Now, from my understanding, if they try to strip you, you're not going to fumble. Also, from my understanding, if you're using a running back or a wide receiver and you're, catch a drag and you're trying to get upfield, if you cover up, you still shouldn't fumble. This is specifically for quarterbacks. So, basically, start sliding. There's no risk whatsoever to sliding. The next thing is going to be tuned to decrease disengage angles for defenders versus a run game. So you can read the dev note here. It goes on to describe how disengage is different than a block shed and is dictated by the strength rating of the two players involved in the block. By decreasing the angles, defenders will have to wait longer to disengage away from blockers as the ball carrier runs through the line. When looking at game data, we have seen that scoring and yards gained are below our target ranges, which led this to tuning change. This applies to all game styles and difficulty levels. So we had a very similar message, I think last month. They had to buff the running game because, well, actually they had to nerf block sheds because the game data was below their target ranges. They've done the same thing here. They have basically buffed running, and I really hope it doesn't turn into Madden 18. Hopefully it's a kind of a nice balance. I don't know yet. Like I said, I have not touched the game yet. Pass coverage. All right, so I'll try not to get too lengthy on this, but no promises. So, improve zone logic for cover 3 and cover 4 versus multiple crossing routes such as PA boot overplays. So, like I said, I've said this multiple times already. I have not touched the game yet, but based on what I'm hearing, the crossing routes are still getting open versus hook curls, which are supposedly supposed to match up with these crossing routes. Cover 4, nobody is going to use that without protecting the sticks because the quarters zone logic is so unpredictable. Nobody knows officially what they're going to do depending on what your opponent's doing. So unless you protect the sticks, cover 4 is not usable. And if you protect the sticks, the cover 4 match principles aren't useful against a play like PA boot over. Hopefully that made sense to you guys. Let's see. Fake screen wheel, don't care. Man up 3 deep, don't care. Improve zone logic for cover 6 and cover 4 quarters coverages versus trips formations. So this is the exact same thing I was just talking about. Cover 6 and cover 4 both have quarters type coverage. And the patch, or I guess this patch note right here where it says improve zone logic, is basically referencing the match principles of cover 6 and cover 4. But like I just mentioned, nobody's using the match principles because everybody's too scared to. Everybody's using protect the sticks because they want their quarters to bail out. But once they bail out, they're not going to be matching up with these wheel routes and these deep crossers and stuff like that. So, I mean, it sounds good, but it's useless. Let's see here. Tune to decrease the frequency of defenders playing the ball when covering routes well in front of the intended receiver. Okay. Real player motion, don't care. From what I've noticed, though, some of the running animations are definitely different. Pre-play. Tuned to improve jog animations after huddle breaks. Good. This one's big. Address an issue allowing offensive players to reset defensive players' adjustments by using audibles in pre-play. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that, but I personally hold right trigger so I can just constantly look at my defensive adjustments and make sure nothing changes or make sure everything looks correct. But many times with someone with audible, your guys who were, I guess, blitzing would go back into zones, and it was really frustrating. You'd have to re-blitz them and all that kind of stuff. So allegedly that is fixed as well. Let's see here. Talk about blocking. This is the last thing we're going to talk about. Tuned to improve pass block targeting for running backs in the backfield. Allegedly that was supposed to be in the last patch. Fix some issues causing blocking fullbacks on toss plays to obstruct the... Okay, so there was a little exploit going around. I didn't personally see it very often. It happened a couple times. Jay Wall, who's in my crew, showed it to me, and he did it to me. It was really annoying. But basically what it was is you could come out in like a field goal block, and if they ran a toss on you, I'm not exactly sure which lineman it would be, but would basically back up and knock the ball out of your quarterback's hands. It would become a fumble, and it was just a mess. So that's fixed. Improve logic for pass rush exploits dealing with... Oh, my bad. Not a lineman. It's a fullback. Obstruct the toss. Yeah, my bad. Improve logic for pass rush exploits dealing with defenders placed in a coverage or quarterback spy assignment who would then quickly rush up the middle of the formation. So this is kind of referencing user A gaps, I'm pretty sure. But I saw plenty of videos on Twitter earlier that kind of stuff still works. I've seen it myself. That is still alive. Address an exploit around field goal blocks. We already talked about that at the beginning. So that's everything. This is a big patch, guys. If you play MUT and you're heavy in MUT, I mean, you're either going to love this or you're going to hate it. I don't think there's a real in-between here. I personally hate it. I'm not going to be playing much MUT anymore because it's just going to be a massive headache to play defense, in my opinion. Sure, you get more creativity on offense, and that's nice. But you have to have a balance. You have to have proper zone logic. You have to have maybe even more different kinds of zones you can access. Give you more flexibility on defense. You can't just constantly give to the offense and not give back to the defense at the same time. So that's it for the patch notes. Hopefully everything made sense to you guys. Please drop a like if you did like the video. Subscribe for daily Madden 19 content, and I'll see you guys later.